This is Smiths Falls On. Thank you for downloading the podcast. On Smiths Falls On, we have conversations with people important to the town of Smiths Falls. Some people new, some people old, some people you may know, some people may be new to you. We're all about getting to know each other here on. And on this episode, I get the chance to get to know Nathan Smith a little bit better. Nathan is a fiddle player, a multi-instrumentalist, a songwriter, a performer, a singer, and he also is a teacher. He teaches at Smiths Falls Music here in the Arts Hub, so if you need some fiddle lessons, come on down and you can get set up with Nathan. Nathan and I had a great talk. I always have fun talking music with Nathan. Nathan is a fairly new resident to Smiths Falls. He moved here just this year, right in the middle of COVID. So the town is still revealing itself to him. So very interesting to catch up with him on his impressions of the town so far, and also the journey that brought him here. So without very much further ado, let's get to our conversation with Mr. Nathan Smith. But first, a word from our sponsors. Water and Rail Clothing, folks. We sell them here at the Arts Hub. We just got new hoodies in stock, the 2021 models. The heat wave is over, folks. We're looking forward to that nice fall weather where you get to cozy up in a hoodie. You must have seen them around town. Water and Rail, train tracks and waves. Describes our town in a nutshell pretty well, I think. Water and Rail. We've got sunglasses. We've got hoodies. Hoodies are the big one. You got to get yours. You just got to get it today. Come on down to the Arts Hub, mention the podcast, you'll get 10% off. Water and Rail. And sponsor number 2 is Northwood Music. Northwood Music is an independent Canadian record label featuring some local acts from Smiths Falls. That's right. Amber McLean, singer-songwriter, and Madden Grace, who just released her first single via the label. Northwood Music specializes in featuring and showcasing up-and-coming Canadian talent. Indie, singer-songwriter, folky kind of vibes. Check it out at northwoodmusic.ca and find your new favorite artist. They got t-shirts for sale there. You can find links to all their music. You can even buy music if that's something you still do. Northwood Music. Great music has no rules. All right, that's it for sponsor talk, folks. Now on to my conversation with Mr. Nathan Smith. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks so much.
We're on.
We're on. All right.
I think we're on. You sound a little loud. Hold on.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
No, don't quiet you.
Oh, okay.
I have a knob I can turn down.
That makes sense. This is a studio after all.
That should be better.
Okay.
There we go.
Cool.
Just want to make sure you're not peeking out or anything.
This sort of, the radio voice is not...
Yeah.
Something I'm very accustomed to. This is my first time being on a podcast. This is very exciting.
Well, I'm glad I'm your first.
Wow,
I'm
me
honored.
too.
Yeah. So you rode your bike here?
I rode my bike here. Yeah, for sure. I rode my bike here.
You ride your bike a lot of places, don't you?
That's true. Yeah,
I always see you on that bike. It's a nice bike.
It's a great bike. Yeah, I got that bike from a place in Toronto called Curbside Cycle that just deals pretty much exclusively in like commuter bikes,
right?
And like this philosophy of bicycles as vehicles, you know, which is something that I really love. I really agree with. I mean, when I lived in Toronto, I rode my bike almost exclusively.
Well, they are vehicles, aren't they now?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a fast way to get places. You don't have to worry too much about parking. Now that there's a little bit more bike parking here in Smiths Falls, downtown, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Do you like to park your bike like more like parallel or on an angle?
Oh, I see what you're doing. Yeah. that debate is unfortunately is before my time. I'm so new to Smiths Falls.
Yeah, you're just hearing
Crazy.
The echoes of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you're so new to Smiths Falls that a lot of people don't know who you are. So we should probably, at the very least, say your name. Give you a little intro. So I'll let you do that because, frankly, you know a lot more about you than I even know about you. I know some stuff.
More even than you.
You know even more about yourself than I do. Yeah, I'm convinced of it.
Yeah, I almost know too much. Yeah, so my name's Nathan Smith, and I'm originally from North Bay, Ontario. And
I like that place.
It's a good place. It's a good place to be from. My parents still live there. I get back there quite a lot. I mean, not so much in the last couple of years, obviously. But yeah, I go back and visit them a ton as much as I can, just partly because I love my parents, but also because it's a really beautiful place. And I started playing music when I was a little kid, like 6 years old. I started playing violin.
Yeah.
Started taking lessons.
Your parents play?
My mom and dad are both amateur musicians, but they both really love to play music.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I remember my mom at the end of the day, like after all of us went to bed, I could always hear her like playing piano.
Yeah.
Like pretty much every day she would play.
I find it's usually the parents who play who start their kids that early. For
sure. Well, yeah, I mean, I started because I wanted to.
Right.
When I was like 3 years old, we lived up in this train town called Hornpain.
I've been there.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh,
wow.
I went through on the train.
Oh, yeah, of course. Great. Yeah. And the people who lived across the road from us were this older couple, and he played the fiddle, and my mom would go over with me and like accompany fiddle tunes with him on the piano.
What else are you going to do in Hornpain?
That's it. Play the fiddle for sure. I mean, that and like, fish and hunt and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't remember, like I don't have super vivid memories of what like that music sounded like or anything like that. But that was the first time I saw someone playing an instrument that wasn't what my parents played, So it obviously had some kind of profound effect on me.
Yeah.
And one thing I do actually remember is he had these little decorative violins on the wall.
Yep.
Just like a little wall hanging. And I was really small, of course. And so I thought like they were real violins.
Yeah.
And I asked if I could play it, and learn to play it. So that was probably the first time I asked to learn to play. And then, a couple of years later, actually got to start.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do you feel like because you started fiddling so young that you have a pretty big edge over people who maybe started in their teens or as an adult?
I don't know about that. I mean, obviously, yeah, it helps that I've been playing for a really long time. It helps that I went through the quote unquote like being bad at the instrument.
Yeah.
When I was too young basically to remember it, or at least when I was at an age where you're pretty much bad at everything.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't necessarily matter. So if there's an edge to be had, I think that's probably part of it.
Right.
Just like getting in to playing when you're not so self-conscious like you've learned to be as an adult,
Yeah. My 4-year-old started on the violin.
Oh, yeah.
She can't do much, but she thinks she's amazing.
Sweet. Yeah.
And I'm not going to tell her any different.
No, of course not.
Because she will be in time.
That's right.
And she's still amazing. But she can't play the violin that well.
Well, I mean, it's all about context,
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I can't play the violin that well.
Right.
So, yeah, but I don't know. I've had to kind of rediscover as an adult, like this kind of pathway to discovery of music and discovery of the instrument. And like, I don't know, I think it's something that every adult goes through, especially if they've taken up something like very focused and very serious, and that's like skill development all the time, is just this kind of like rediscovering of an unselfconscious sort of childlike approach to playing, like making it fun again in a way, and exciting. Just
kind of figuring out what you want to do, where you want to go. I remember that on guitar when I started on guitar. I just figure out little ditties here and there, and I wasn't worrying about getting them, the exact voicing right. I just had fun.
Sure.
Maybe I'd only learn half the song and then move on to another half song because I got bored, but had a lot of fun.
And I mean, you're allowed, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the older I got, the more I would beat myself up for my mistakes.
Yeah, sure.
And try and aim for perfection.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, you play more than fiddle.
Yeah, I mean, I play guitar and I play mandolin. I wouldn't describe myself as like excellent at either of those.
Yeah, but you can get by.
But I can get by. Yeah, I can get by okay. And I also play viola. That's what I went to university for, was studying viola, like classical viola performance.
So for our listeners who may not even know what a viola is, what's the difference between a violin and a viola?
Okay. So a viola, if you saw someone playing the viola, like the untrained eye might not even recognize it as a different instrument. I mean, it's held the same way, played the same way.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit bigger and a little bit lower.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So is it the same amount of strings?
It's 4 strings.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, if you took, like note-wise, if you took the highest string on the fiddle, the E string, and you got rid of that, and then you put a lower string beside where the lowest string is, like a C string, that's the viola.
Right.
Note-wise.
So it's basically the guy in between a cello and a violin.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like a full octave above the cello.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's this like inner voice, not very often featured as like the solo instrument in the orchestra.
More of a supporting role.
That's right. Yeah. The team player.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I really love. That's something I came to really appreciate about playing the viola, was I kind of developed this love of like the inner line and like, the kind of hidden harmony, but that like really ties everything together.
Yeah, I can see that. I went through a similar journey myself, I think, on the drums.
Oh, yeah?
Because when I started playing drums, I wanted to be going crazy all the time.
Yeah.
With like my 1,000,000-piece drum kit. It's like I was playing a solo the whole time.
Right.
But the more I played, the more I just wanted to kind of groove and sit in the pocket and be tight.
Yeah.
And just be there for the song, just truck it along.
Yeah, absolutely. And this focus on groove is something that I have, like, as an adult, really come around to as well. I think it's probably a maturity thing, not needing to be always like the center of attention, but just wanting the ensemble to really feel as good as possible, even if it's simple.
Mm-hmm.
Like a few years ago now, I started playing pretty regularly for dancing. For a group in Toronto called Ball Folk Toronto that does like French social dancing, like from France.
Yeah.
So all these kind of old dances from villages around France that have kind of become this one sort of modern folk tradition called ball folk. And it's like some very simple dances, some a little bit more complicated, but nothing so complicated necessarily that it needs to be like called like a square dance would.
Yeah.
But just playing for dancing as a fiddle player, you play. I grew up playing all these fiddle tunes that really are for dancing. Pretty much all fiddle music is really dance music.
Yeah,
and,
you get a jig going and you try and stop the kids.
That's it.
They just want to bounce. For
sure. But playing these tunes like specifically while people danced and, trying to create a groove that's easy to follow, and also has kind of enough like syncopation in it, like offbeats to get people excited.
Yeah.
That's really fun.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, an emphasis on simplicity and like a deep groove was that really kind of helped me see like the paramount importance of that.
Playing heavy music, I did some similar stuff too. We have these things called banana riffs.
Tell me more.
Well, at your show, I'm not sure whether it was you saying it or one of your bandmates.
Okay.
But you're talking about how like, kind of like if you've heard a jig, you've heard all the jigs.
Right.
Because they all follow the same basic pattern.
Yeah, right.
Very particularly in the rhythm. So, I mean, you can create all sorts of different melodies that sort of follow the same family of melodies in a certain rhythm, and it's new and different, but at the same time the same.
Totally.
So there's like punk rock and hardcore riffs that sound like that too.
Okay.
And the pattern is it's like Nana Banana.
Nana Banana.
Yeah, like Nana Banana 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 Banana. It's just that gets you going. What makes you want to mosh.
Oh, okay, sweet.
Yeah. But you can take the chords wherever you want.
Yeah, right.
That da 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 pattern.
That's the
keeps going. That's like the jig of punk rock.
Okay, sweet.
My dog's back at you.
Yeah, no kidding.
My dog really likes you.
Oh, that's
Mishka.
That's so nice.
Mishka, come over here. Come here. Come here.
She's such a good dog.
She is good, but she has a big wet beard.
Yeah, pretty damp.
Lie down
right now.
Lie down. Lie down. So we've heard about instruments, and we've heard where you started, and I know where you wound up.
Yeah,
but I don't know about all the in between. You grew up in North Bay.
I grew up in North Bay. Yeah, so I started playing like Suzuki violin. That was kind of how I started, and had I took a couple years of lessons doing that, and was in like a small like junior chamber orchestra. And I kind of reached this point that most kids get to where they maybe like don't want to do it anymore. Mm-hmm. And my parents really didn't want me to quit. So they found me a fiddle teacher, someone in the area. And I took a few lessons with him, and then I think he was going away. He was pretty young. I think he might have been going away to university. Mm-hmm. And then so I needed to find a new one. And I was playing on the like a telethon in North Bay. Okay. And I saw this guy, another like pretty young guy playing fiddle tunes, and I thought, wow, that's amazing. And I went up to him and like I asked him for his autograph. His name was Chad Wolf, and he became my fiddle teacher for the next like number of years.
Cool.
Yeah, he is just like a kind and generous teacher. I learned a lot from him, but also I got a lot of opportunities through him. His recitals were always in public, like in a park somewhere, or in an old folks home, or in a supermarket, or in the mall, or like I was always kind of, even from pretty young, I got to just perform in public. And then later on, we played gigs together, played at like fall fairs and things like that. So it was pretty awesome. And then as a teenager also, I was teaching fiddle in his studio. Cool. So I've been teaching, since I was a teenager. And then eventually I ended up going back to my original violin teacher to study classical violin again. And it was really great to kind of have both. Mm-hmm. Fiddle was just, I don't know, it was a way that I could perform in all kinds of different venues, and perform with all kinds of different people. And then I was getting this technical training from my teacher, and playing with his like high school aged orchestra, and playing with the North Bay Orchestra, and playing in a string quartet with my teacher. And so, it was great to just be doing both. I went away to school and studied classical music, and actually before that, I was playing fiddle tunes at a farmer's market one time, and a guy that I recognized as a teacher at my high school, he came up to me and he said, "Oh, this is great fiddle playing. You ever play bluegrass?" And I said, "I don't know what that is." What does that mean? He said, "Well, you should come to our band practice and find out." Turns out, fiddle players are in high demand in the bluegrass circles.
Definitely.
So I joined his band. We had a bluegrass band, mostly of people who were quite a bit older than me. They're called River Blue, and that's where I learned to play bluegrass and improvise in that style, and that's where I learned to sing.
How hard did you find the transition from like Celtic fiddling to bluegrass? To me, they sound almost the same, but I'm not the expert.
There are some pretty there are some pretty profound differences that are kind of hard to explain if if you haven't like listened a lot to it. I mean, so a lot of, like, Celtic styles have this kind of like bounciness to them, and there's this like kind of swingy, lilty quality.
Okay.
And bluegrass music is bluegrass and country music are kind of, like driving a little bit, and the sound is very kind of constant, and you almost do this kind of like self-compression in a way, where you kind of have this constant sound with your bow. I tell my students that the sensation is like you're spreading peanut butter across your strings. So it's just like the idea that like as you spread peanut butter on bread, you want to kind of create this even, like no bumps in the sound, whereas like, Canadian and Celtic styles are much more bumpy.
Right.
Crunchy peanut butter.
Crunchy peanut butter versus smooth.
Versus smooth. Kind of. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's not a complete metaphor, but that's something I say.
It's a conceptual
exactly
thing. It's not a perfect scientific analogy.
Yeah. It's something that makes sense to me, and maybe no one else. And so, but at the same time, I didn't really like dig into bluegrass until like a long time later. Really, I went through a bunch of different bands, and I even toured around with some bands, but it wasn't until eventually I moved to Toronto and met Rob, and the rest of the guys, who became the Barrel Boys.
Yep.
And that was when things started to kind of shift for me, just because now all of a sudden we were starting this band, and all of us knew a little bit about bluegrass and kind of were coming at it from our own different angles and had a bunch of other interests, but we're kind of converging on this bluegrass idea. Yeah. And so we had to like come up with repertoire, and we had to dig into the music a little bit, and we were showing each other things, and I don't know, I just work really well when I feel like I'm in a good team. Like I want to feel like, I don't know, we're in something together. We're discovering something and creating something together, Yeah. And so that was like really when this music kind of started to make sense for me.
Well, you must love bands being on a team like that, because you keep making new ones.
Yeah.
How many are you up to now? I've counted at least 3.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Like sometimes the bands shift a little bit and like kind of, wax and wane. And sometimes bands are like very short-lived or very casual. But my most serious projects right now are the Barrel Boys and this band that you saw, Vinta.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty new band. But that's a band of people that I've spent a lot of time playing with, even before we were like official.
Yeah.
You can't see the air quotes.
It was a great show. And for those who don't know about Vinta, Vinta ties into your love of that like French folk dancing.
Exactly. So
you were mentioning.
Yeah, Vinta's a band that came out of that community of dancing and playing for dancing. So actually, Emmeline, who's in Vinta, Emmeline Stam, she was one of the founders of the Ballfolk Toronto group.
Gotcha.
She spent a bunch of time in Europe and like really fell in love with this like social dance music. And then when she came back to Toronto, she wanted to do it and wanted to share it with other people. So she started that collective.
Well, it seems like all 4 of you have a pretty big interest in this.
Yeah.
Would it be fair to call it an obscure thing?
I guess. I mean, it depends on where you are, Right. If you go to Central Europe, I mean, it's definitely not an obscure thing there. Right. They have festivals, like dance festivals, where They have huge stages and like thousands of people are like doing the dances that go along with these. It's like real kind of like rock and roll a little bit sometimes, light shows and like massive events,
Cool.
Here it's obscure.
Right.
But we're trying to make it a little bit less obscure.
I think that's working because I'm in the know.
Yeah,
a little bit. I've seen you demo some of the dances.
Yeah, that's right.
Which was a really fun part, I thought, of your show.
Cool.
Was being able to sort of see, and I think a couple people even got up and tried it a little bit themselves here and there.
Yeah,
I kept imagining like some like script supervisor or like historical chronology film person tapping you guys to let them know if the scene in coastal France in 1782 was like they were like the kids were doing the right moves.
Oh yeah,
or something like that.
We're the dancing consultants.
Yeah, consultants. Yeah, historical French dancing consultants.
Right. Yeah.
In movies I just picture kids run around a pole with ribbons.
Sometimes.
Just picture a lot of that.
Yeah.
But you got that seems like the easy way out to me. You guys know the actual moves.
We do. We know the moves. We've taught the moves to people. It'd be fun to have a dance event here in Smiths Falls and at some time when it makes sense.
Yeah, once we're not all footloose and
exactly.
dancing is allowed again.
Exactly. Yeah. But to have like a dance workshop evening where, bring the band in and teach people some of these dances and maybe teach some of the musicians in town, a couple of the tunes to play for the dancing. Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet.
I know there isn't really in Vinta so much aside from perhaps your feet, but is there like percussion elements traditionally in that style of music? Like, do they have any drums they use or?
Not a lot of the time. It kind of depends on where you are too. Which pocket of France you're talking about, like sometimes there'd be, just like fiddles and bagpipes.
Yeah.
Like different French bagpipes. And sometimes there'd be like this other instrument called a cabaret. There'd be like a hurdy-gurdy sometimes.
I know a hurdy-gurdy. I've never heard of cabaret. What's a cabaret?
Cabaret is like a double reed instrument that sounds a little bit like a really loud oboe.
Okay.
And yeah, so not really a lot of percussion that I've heard, but like I said, at some of the festival bands, like headlining festival bands will have drums in the band, and it really it starts to sound like really kind of rock and roll, So as ball folks become like this modern concept, you'll have like more and more modern sounding bands. But there's also a lot of bands that a lot of musicians that are really kind of going the other way a little bit and like keeping things very minimal, digging really deep into kind of tradition and like authenticity and that sort of thing. So you have kind of that whole same mix that you have in a lot of genres that like have deep roots and deep traditions.
But you guys keep it fairly authentic.
Yes and no. I mean, we we don't profess to be like, well, I don't know, it depends. we don't as a 4-piece necessarily profess to be like the experts on this stuff.
Yeah.
For myself, like I've never actually been over there to play this music and learn from people who are like the experts in the field. So for me, something that's always made sense to me is writing my own tunes.
Yeah.
And that way, I feel like I'm being kind of as honest as I can be, and as authentic to myself as I can be. I have gotten a lot of joy from playing these tunes and playing in this style and playing for these dances. And I also want to, express that joy through a way that is, true to myself. So this is something I kind of feel like I have ownership over. Do you know what I mean? I'm not expressing myself very clearly,
I mean, when I
feel
saw
like.
you guys play, there definitely seemed to be two kind of modes. There was like, this is a piece from 1850 and we're going to play it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was like, this is a piece inspired by,
Exactly.
you know, and those pieces, obviously, just as you said, you're going to be, you know, it may be an homage to something,
certainly.
but it's at the same time an original modern composition of yours. So things are going to cross pollinate, and other things are going to leak in, and it's going to be part Nate and part 1850s French guy.
Yeah, exactly. And then I feel a little bit less kind of self-conscious about like having a real kind of Canadian accent, I guess, when it comes like, or a bluegrass accent or whatever, like the Nate accent on the fiddle when I'm like playing this kind of music. And it doesn't matter so much to me because it's like, this is a tune that I wrote and it fits with this dance.
Yeah.
You know, I've danced these dances enough to know what I want a tune to feel like for dancing these dances. So yeah, I feel like it's a kind of a nice balance. And like a lot of the tunes that we play in Vinta are tunes like that we wrote. I don't know, like tune authorship, I think, is just something that I like to celebrate. And these traditions are alive. You know, it's not just about like 1850s, you know, French guy. It's about like it's about us dancing now, you know, and so us playing tunes that I wrote a month ago or 6 months ago or whatever, and everything's still expanding, everything's still growing, everything's still evolving, and it can be personal for everybody, you know. So
when I saw you guys play, and I definitely took note when you were introing, like, this is a song I wrote, this is a song I wrote.
Yeah.
When you write a song
and
you're bringing it to Vinta, are you saying, like, I wrote a song and these are the 4 parts to the song? Or are you saying, I wrote a song, this is my part, come in and do your thing with it?
Okay. So, yeah, this kind of goes for both Vinta and the Barrel Boys. The compositional styles are kind of the same, where we will write things individually. A melody, what we bring to the group is a melody and general chord structure. Yeah. Though those chords are kind of subject to change. I'm not really as much of a deep harmonic thinker as the other players in that group, or in the Barrel Boys. Frankly, as a fiddle player, I don't know, I'm just so melody first. Yeah, you know, it's a bit of a shortcoming musically, but you know, I'm working on it. You live
up top.
Yeah, I know. It's the chords are playable on the fiddle, but don't sound as good as necessarily as on other instruments. Anyway, I'll bring like a tune, so melody, general chord structure, form, you know, but what everybody plays is like, that's kind of either we'll probably like play the tune a whole bunch and people will discover things that they want to play on it, or, you know, there's also kind of templates of possibilities. Yeah. You know, like playing a kind of a parallel harmony, or playing like just some like nice long tones or whatever to sit back in the background, or playing something that's like more rhythmic, driving. And we just kind of jam it for a while, and then we'll have a discussion about it and be like, hey, you know, hey, what if you did this thing? And like, oh, maybe I'll do this. What are you doing there? Oh, I think if you do that, can you play that thing that you were doing? And I'm going to try and like play it along with you, or something. Like, it's the kind of this group discovery process.
I think that's what makes a band.
Oh yeah, big time.
You know, otherwise you're just 4 people who are playing music together. Yeah. You're not a band.
Well, even like when a lot of things are decided in advance, like, for example, when I was in school and I played in a string quartet for a couple of years. Yeah. Same, like with the same 4 people for 2 years, and it was amazing. You know, we had all the sheet music in front of us, and like the dynamics and notes and rhythms and like general tempos are all kind of decided, but there's still this like discussion process, and you're kind of like picking through the details, and like, do we all breathe here? That's this sort of thing, and like get like the exact articulation together. I don't know. I just love doing that stuff. I love rehearsing, and I love kind of this discussion and crafting an arrangement and crafting the details and getting things really like tight,
Yeah, absolutely.
together.
Yeah.
It's that teamwork element. I mean, I feel like I could play any kind of music in a way, as long as I like really loved working as a team with the people that were in the ensemble.
Yeah, I get that. Because I mean, even if you, as a fiddle player, you might head in with an idea of what you might like to hear on the clarinet.
Yeah.
But it's just going to be probably more generalized.
Yeah.
And when you have the expert to lean on, it becomes such a bigger thing than what any one person can typically do by themselves.
Yeah. In all honesty, I would say that when I bring a song to the Barrel Boys or a tune to Vinta, I would say like my ideas about what other people are going to play are going to be like slim to none.
Yeah.
It's just, I'd rather not have any kind of expectations of what they're going to play, except I know it's going to be good.
Right.
I trust everybody in those ensembles to just figure it out.
Yeah, that's a good feeling.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So Barrel Boys.
Yeah.
Bluegrass.
Yeah.
Vinta, French dance folk with a little bit of like, there's somewhat Belgian in there, there's
Swedish. Some Scandinavian. Yeah, exactly. We play some Swedish tunes. We also play kind of like some Canadian fiddle inspired tunes as well. And
did I just see a Facebook post like yesterday about another new band?
Okay, so yeah. That band, the Prospectors, is a semi-real band.
Right.
Okay.
It's a project.
Yeah. Project is maybe a bit much. So
it's somewhere in between a real band and an inside joke.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly. That now it's somewhere in between those things. It's a band that we really would love to be a real band.
Yeah.
Because so the story with that is so this camp I was just at, Northern Lights out in Saskatchewan. It was my second time going to this camp, and it's just such a wonderful place. I mean, I just love teaching in a place where everybody is, everybody's kind of like focused on learning and growing together, and like everybody's so positive and supportive. And the teachers they hired for this week were really wonderful. We all got along so well and enjoyed hanging out when we weren't teaching, and we'd jam together until the wee hours in the morning. And we had, by the end of the week, we had all these kind of like inside jokes and things that are, of course, like would be like really stupid to try and explain. Lots of you had to be there kinds of things. And
this one time at band camp,
pretty much, yeah, kind of, yeah, exactly. Lots of fun though, and we loved playing together. Just everything really, really kind of clicked socially, musically. So much so that we just kind of decided, oh man, what if we made a band, and it was kind of like snowballed, what would we be called? And, this one guy, Pat, in this group of friends, he really wanted everybody to sign off the conversations by saying happy trails. He was very invested in this for some reason. And then we decided to add on the like moniker of Prospector, like happy trails Prospector, for not really any good reason. Yeah. Just, again, like a silly thing that we came up with. And so then, we decided, like our band could be the Prospectors, and we'd always say happy trails, or like our song or our album would be Happy Trails. And then there was this one-day festival kind of at the end of the camp. And at the end of one of their sets that a duo of these teachers were playing, they had all of us up on stage, and we played a couple of songs that we had jammed, at 3 a.m. or whatever. And it was just so much fun to play together. So, that was our one gig that we had.
Nice.
But the problem is, two of them are from the Yukon. One's from Victoria. One's from Edmonton. And, I live here. So, distance is a bit of a factor there.
Yeah.
So but one of the guys in that group is a really skilled photographer. So he said, "Oh, let's take a band picture." So that's where all this kind of came from.
Nice. So then
it's a band we really want to be a band and to like play together, but it's logistically challenging.
So next band practice might be a year from now then?
Maybe, hopefully.
Yeah.
That's what we hope. Maybe
Gotcha.
we'll get a gig sometime and then we'll have a band practice.
So that's 2.5 bands, let's call it.
Yeah.
Is that where it ends at this point?
For Nate? Really? No, I wouldn't say that. Like I've played for a number of years with a project called Lisa Way and the Wayward Wind, and they play in kind of soft cedar theaters around, and it's like very scripted concerts. Okay, it's not tribute shows necessarily, though she does have a couple of tribute shows for which I'm like, I would be like a part of the backing band. But so yeah, she started making kind of tribute shows, but then she got this band together of people who were not only good musicians, but also were comfortable talking to an audience and also good singers.
Yep.
So then she started to make these shows a little more like complicated, like more dynamic, let's say.
Interactive?
Like it's more, complicated is kind of a negative word, but like dynamic, let's say, so that, people would take turns like talking to the audience and talking about the songs and like, but there's a script, right? Talking about the artists and the songs that we're doing, and it'd be like a variety of music with a running theme. Anyway, I've played for a number of years with so
even
with
a bit theatrical, might you say?
A little bit.
Verging?
Yeah, it's not theater necessarily, and it's not necessarily a band. Like it is a band, but with
it's a show
with a script. It's a show. It's a concept.
Yeah.
It's really like a kind of a bit of a spectacle. But there's no plot necessarily, and we're not like characters. We're just it's
but
just
it's
a show.
It's scripted.
Exactly.
And night from night you can be like, that was a really good show.
Oh yeah.
That was a really good, like this section of the show
absolutely
was bang on.
Yeah, for sure.
This time. Yeah, I get it.
I learned a lot playing with that group. Like, I was a pretty good fiddle player and a pretty good singer, but we also played. I had to play a lot of rhythm guitar, and I got a lot better at that. Mandolin, I got a lot better at. I got a lot more. I got to really dig into what it means to be a performer doing those shows, because I really started to see the value of doing the same thing like night after night for a few weeks.
Oh yeah.
It's like all of a sudden, like I'm not thinking about what I'm saying anymore. I'm not thinking about the words I'm singing. I'm not thinking about the chords I'm playing. I'm not thinking about my fiddle lines. I'm just thinking about how I'm like projecting as a performer to the audience. I'm just focusing on only that. And I'd never really been able to do that before. Like I never had the opportunity to just dig into that, the like raw aspect of performing and that part of performing, just the performance itself.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you can have 1,000 band practices, you can have 1,000 rehearsals, but nothing, I find, hones your performing skills like performing.
Yeah.
Actually performing.
Oh, yeah.
Because then, is at a band practice, if you get a cramp in your hand or something, you might just stop and give it a little massage or something, jump back in. But when you're in a show, the show must go on. You got to keep it going, right?
Yeah.
So and that's when you really learn the sort of ups and downs and nooks and crannies of your set.
Yeah.
And how to pace yourself.
Exactly.
and whether you're, where your issues are.
Yeah.
Like, can I not hear here? Do I have a tendency to get excited and play a little too fast here?
Yep.
Do I need to pull back here? And night after night doing that again, especially when it's in the same order, so you can really judge that flow. Like, I just played a burner and now I got 2 burners in a row. Please talk in between these 2 songs for 30 seconds so that my hands can recover, sort of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're totally right. Pacing and just your energy. And, people would kind of ask me sometimes like, well, like, do you get tired of doing the same show over and over again? And generally, I would say no, because again, like, I'm not thinking about the content anymore. Like I was saying, like, I'm not thinking about the aspects that are the same. Those are mostly on autopilot in a way, you know, require very little conscious thought. What I'm thinking about is the things that are different. Is like, oh, what's happening with the audience, and like, what am I doing with my body? And like, how can I say something like really dial this thing in to get like as much kind of humor out of what I'm saying as possible? Or just thinking, there's always stuff to think about and always things that were different and always things to learn.
So jumping back 1 sec. I'm still a little fuzzy on your trajectory here.
Sure.
So you started in Hornpain.
Yeah, that's where I was born.
Born in Hornpain, and then moved to North Bay.
Very soon moved to North Bay. Yeah.
Like in your first year of life?
No. Like I was almost
5,
4.
6?
4, yeah.
4?
Yeah.
And then you were in North Bay till into high school?
Yeah, and I actually did a college diploma in North Bay in like environmental science, which is not the route I ended up going. Like immediately afterwards, I went and did a music degree. Right.
So no break from school.
No break from school until I was like, I guess 24 to almost 24. And that was in Ottawa. I went to university in Ottawa.
Oh, okay. Oh, like Ottawa U?
Ottawa U.
Yeah,
yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
I grew up in Ottawa.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
nice
never went to the university, but I did used to host a radio show.
Oh, yeah?
On CHUO.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, for a couple of years, like the early 2000s.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, their heavy metal show.
Oh, yeah, sweet. Yeah. Of course.
It's called Force Fed.
Force Fed? Yeah. Oh, my God.
My friend actually hosted it for like probably a decade.
Yeah.
I joined him as co-host for a couple of years.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it was fun times.
I'm sure.
I like that campus.
Yeah. It's kind of, I don't know, it's a little like kind of brutalist in a way, like all those kind of concrete buildings. It's not the most inspiring campus. There's a lot of concrete and asphalt.
Yeah, and when I say campus, I think I more just mean the radio station. I didn't really get around campus much. Like I said, I wasn't a student, but I just had a show there, and they had a room full of records.
Yeah,
it's fun to look through all the records and CDs, and
totally
all that stuff.
Yeah, Ottawa U was a nice place to go to school.
So then you moved to Toronto?
Well, yes, I toured with a bluegrass band called Hard Ride right after that, and then I went to South Korea and taught English for a little while.
You did that thing.
Yeah.
A couple of years or a year?
Just 1 year.
1 year.
Just 1 year. And then I traveled, like backpacked around Southeast Asia and China for a little while after that. And then I moved to Toronto, and that's when I went to Humber College for a year, and that's when I met the Barrel Boys.
Right.
Yeah.
So what'd you do at Humber? Was that more viola
jazz,
stuff?
Like jazz violin. Yeah. It's kind of funny. Like, in a way, this feels a little weird to say, but at every stage of my journey, I kind of had said like to myself, okay, no more bluegrass. Yeah. No more fiddling. I'm gonna study. I'm gonna only do serious music.
Yeah.
And it just kept coming back into my life, always there was a discovery, like this guy at the farmer's market, saying like, hey, you ever heard of bluegrass? Or when I was at Ottawa U, I was walking through the market one time, and there was this sign that said live bluegrass upstairs. And there were these guys, this band, the Dusty Drifters, and they didn't have a fiddle player in their band. So I ended up joining their band. And then, they connected me with this band, Hard Ride. And then, I don't know, and then the Barrel Boys kind of formed just by people hearing about each other and like organically forming this group. And, and at that point, I became such good friends with those guys that was the kind of music I wanted to play.
Yeah.
It's just so much about the people.
So how long were you in Toronto then?
I moved to Toronto in 2012. and just moved to Smiths Falls at the beginning of this year.
So just shy of a decade.
Yeah.
So how you liking the Falls?
It's great.
Yeah. Tell me about that. Like you moved here. Had you heard of here before?
Oh yeah.
Had you been here before?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'd been here a couple of times. We hadn't spent like really serious time here, Bree and I, before we moved. But like Rob and Roslyn, were our connection to Smiths Falls.
Yeah.
They moved to Smiths Falls, and we're like, what? Where is Smiths Falls? What is the deal? Why are you guys going there? What's the deal with that? And since they moved there, they've been kind of putting the bug in our ear.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what if you guys moved to Smiths Falls? And we're pretty excited about Toronto. I mean, I love Toronto very much. And, I will always miss Toronto, I think. So I don't know. I wasn't keen to leave the city necessarily. But Smiths Falls was always a little bit on our radar, just from them living here and them, starting this place, the Arts Hub and Smiths Falls Music with you guys.
Yeah.
And as we came and visited, we met a couple of their friends, like we met Jared and Josie, and we're like, oh man, there's some cool people in Smiths Falls. It's like kind of sweet. And, but still, we weren't necessarily thinking about coming here until Bree finished up her master's of counseling psychology, started a private practice, and this was just over a year ago, really. And so this was mid-pandemic, and we were living in a 1-bedroom apartment, and I was teaching virtual fiddle lessons in our living room, and she was doing her counseling out of like our bedroom pretty much, and we're trying to like avoid overlap so that there's no sound, interference, mostly so that I'm not disturbing her sessions, and so yeah, it was just kind of a bit of a challenge to negotiate space and sonic space as well. So we thought, okay, we got to get a bigger apartment, and then looking at how much it was going to cost to get a bigger apartment, we were like, ooh, ouch, and then we started tossing around the idea of like, oh, I wonder what like a mortgage in Smiths Falls would cost us,
Yeah.
So we moved here. And then that kind of one thing led to another. Then we started coming to like look at houses, and then we found the house that we lived in. Oh, this is a great house, And so we came here because we could afford a house here.
Yeah.
And also because, we had really, really good friends here. I mean, Rob and I lived together.
Yeah.
Not only were we in a band together, we lived together for like most of the time I was in Toronto.
Right.
Yeah. So we're very close. We know each other very well.
I've been trying to convince some of my other friends from Southern Ontario to move up here. I haven't had any luck yet. I've had some.
Well,
I think I've had some close. I've definitely piqued some people's interest.
Well, you never know.
Yeah.
We were adamant that we weren't moving until we were.
Well, you came in just ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
You came in at a good time. Good time to buy.
Yeah, absolutely. So, my impression of Smiths Falls so far is a little bit limited. It's a place that has kind of been very slowly revealing itself.
Yep.
We moved here in January. Everything's locked down. And so like it took a while to get to know this place. Like we couldn't go into the local businesses really and check things out, and we couldn't hang out with people, like, and it was winter, so it's not like we're having like a big outdoor hangs for very long. So meeting, we obviously knew a couple of people, but meeting like friends of friends couldn't happen until the weather got warmer, until restrictions eased. And so it's been a slow discovery process. Like we couldn't even meet our neighbors.
Yeah.
And now we love our street that we live on.
Yeah.
Like we've met all the people who live on our street, and it's just, they're so wonderful.
Everybody's coming out of their shells a little more.
Like they're so generous and so friendly and so like forthcoming. We really love where we live, but we didn't know that for months when we first moved in.
Yeah.
So we've discovered some things that we really love about the town, I mean, some great little parks and great cafes, and
it's got to be it's got to feel good.
It does feel good.
It's got to be validating.
It definitely feels validating.
Make things feel a little more real.
Yeah. You know what? You mentioned the concert we had in our backyard.
Yeah.
Right? That for me was like the real kind of clincher moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't about necessarily like, I get to play a concert for people necessarily. It wasn't like the performance felt very good, but also just to see a bunch of people, like look out and see a bunch of people who were in our yard, who like we knew, or some that we like knew very loosely, like, contacts of contacts kind of thing. And it'd be just to look out and say, oh, this is our community. We live here.
Mm-hmm.
This is for real. Like we moved here and it's feeling good.
Awesome.
That was really validating. And I think Bree felt the same way.
Yeah. You guys see yourselves here for the long haul?
Yeah.
You stay a while?
Yeah. Stay a while. I mean, we don't necessarily have any ideas past this. I mean, Bree and I have both traveled a lot, and we've both lived in other countries, and so maybe there'd be something like that on our horizon. But for now, we still feel like we're just getting comfortable. The whole home ownership thing is also really like kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's a trip.
Yeah, I'm not handy at all. So for me, it's a big process of discovery.
Yeah, I don't think I was very handy until I got my first house, and now I'm handy.
And did you have someone to kind of show you stuff, or like apprentice under a little bit?
Not
even
really.
Like a buddy or anything?
Not really.
No, eh?
No.
Good for
mainly
you.
Just figured stuff out on my own. It's generally how I prefer to do things.
That's admirable.
I like to teach myself things.
Nice.
I'll read articles, or I'll watch YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Or I'll just figure it out on my own.
That's good. Yeah. I wish I could say the same for myself. I don't know. Anyway, I like to learn. I like to learn from people.
Yeah.
And I like to kind of the same sort of thing with music, like share kind of the discovery process with somebody else. But that means sometimes things take a while at home before I can gather the courage to learn a vastly new skill.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I like learning. I definitely, when it comes to music, I definitely like learning from people, but less in a, I'm going to take a lesson from you right now kind of way, and more really from playing with people.
Right.
I always like to try and play with people who were better than me.
Right.
So that I would have to try and come up to their level, and I think that's the one thing I mentioned before, like performing, like touring, playing the same show every night in a row for weeks on end is one thing that helped me get better as a musician. And the other thing is just, whether it's a tour or not, just playing with good players.
Oh, yeah.
Making sure I try and surround myself with people who are really good. And I have to, even if I might be, I don't know, it's not a contest about who's better all the time, but
but you feel like you have to step up.
Yeah, I'm going to have to step up. I'm going to have to bring my A game.
Exactly. Yeah, that feeling is good. It's sometimes I feel like it can be stressful in the moment to be like, you can get really like in your head about it. Like, I'm not doing the thing at the same level as I need to be. But no, I mean, that is exactly where you want to be as a
you got to beat yourself up
musician.
A little bit.
Yeah.
You got to be hard on yourself. Otherwise, you're just playing for the participation trophy.
I mean, it's all participation trophies in a way, Like we want to be the best we can be. But what was I going to say? Yeah, there's always this balance, of beating yourself up enough to want to improve.
Yeah.
To be kind of striving to, to at least like get the instrument in your hands to practice, to get that work ethic, because you don't always feel like it. So sometimes there's got to be other ulterior motives, like, oh, I don't want to let everybody down, or I want to like be at the level at the level with the people I'm playing with.
Yeah, totally. Well, there's
that accountability.
Even just like, I would compare that even to just like, say, running a business, it helps having a partner.
Yeah.
Because there's somebody there who you have to be accountable to.
Exactly.
Somebody you don't, it's a lot easier to let yourself down.
Sure.
Yeah,
exactly.
I let myself down all the time.
Yeah.
And it just whizzes by me. But,
for sure.
But I don't want to let other people down.
No.
Not them.
No.
Me, okay,
exactly.
fine. I'll let myself down.
I agree wholeheartedly. That's that's kind of how I like to structure important things, is to get other people invested so that I will do it.
Yeah.
I made an album that came out in early 2020 of songs and tunes, mostly that I wrote, almost entirely of things that I wrote. A couple things that Emmeline wrote are on there. And I got Emmeline involved, and I got Alan involved, who is the bass player in Vinta. And I said, okay, you guys, like, you guys want to be in the band for this album project?
Yeah.
And they said, yeah, let's do it. And I wrote like some grants that I ended up not getting. But the great thing about that was I had reached out, like in the process of applying for the grant, I had reached out to engineer, like publicist, and looked into all the financial aspects of everything and gotten everybody, like, scheduled some dates of when we would record.
Yeah.
And then after I'd done all that, I said, okay, well, I better do it now. Because I feel like I've set up the expectation. And even if they don't necessarily care, it's more beneficial for me to kind of fool myself into thinking like, oh, they care, like, there's some level of like respect for me is riding on my completion of this, and that was enough. That was just enough to keep me, edging forward and keep pushing.
Yeah, I can see that totally.
And then I had an album.
Nice.
Most of it had been written by that point, but not everything.
Yeah.
So kept writing and kept thinking about it, and it was good.
So when did you put out that record?
So the album's called Let It Rest, Let It Rise. And I put it out, it came out in February of 2020.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
and that's
just before a pandemic.
That's for sale in the Arts Hub, where we are now, actually.
That's correct.
I've never actually even once properly described to the listeners like where I'm doing this show from. I've like made brief mentions that it's in the Arts Hub, or that it's, that I also teach at Smith Falls Music, as you do.
That's right.
But for anybody out there listening, Nate and I are currently sitting in the back of the Arts Hub, which is a Northwood studio. It's a recording studio back here. We use it for some lesson teaching in Smith Falls Music as well. And we got a couple other rooms that we teach music lessons in. Nate teaches fiddle. We got lots of other teachers teaching lots of different instruments. And then up front, we got the Arts Hub gift shop, which features, your CD, your album, for one, for sale, as well as many other music and pottery and woodworking and things. Painting, all sorts of art.
Yeah,
music and art. Music is art.
Exactly. Yeah, wonderful things to check out and to buy.
So we're here right now, and that's where we're doing this podcast from. So when you hear those references about the Arts Hub or Smith Falls Music, that's actually where we are right now. It's a multi-purpose, multifaceted hub for the arts, all the arts.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing we don't have here is yet, at least, we've talked about maybe bringing it in, is dance. Now, I saw you tapping your feet. Is that another thing you got under your belt? You a dancer? Or is that just like a little
I'm not
bit
a good dancer.
Yeah.
I wouldn't describe myself, you'd be surprised, I wouldn't describe myself as very coordinated. Playing the fiddle looks very complicated, but really, both of your hands are doing the same thing in a way. Like they're both combining to create like one sound.
Yeah.
It's not like if you're playing piano and you can be doing like 3 different things with different fingers, like that level of coordination. Or playing the drums, for example.
Yeah.
Playing the drums just requires so much more coordination. And so getting that like foot tapping stuff, like the kind of Quebecois, feet rhythm that accompanies fiddle tunes, getting that down has been a long working process for me.
So do you exclusively stick to the like percussion level accompanying yourself on fiddle, or do you put the fiddle down ever and
Oh no, I can't
dance?
do like step dancing or tap dancing or anything like that, really. The only dancing that I feel really confident doing is like these French social dances.
Yeah. Which,
has required quite a bit of learning as well. The steps themselves are very simple, but there's also all kinds of like subtlety to you just, moving your weight around very slightly and shifting, especially with a partner, how to communicate using, like your shifts in body weight or like subtle kind of like, I don't know, hand gestures and like subtle like tactile motions with each other. It can get really, really deep.
I took a ballroom dancing course once when I was a teenager. So I could do like the basic moves of like the foxtrot.
Oh, yeah.
And the triple swing.
That's pretty sweet.
The merengue.
Yeah.
But I've lost most of that at this point. I can still just do the like little hip swings of the
nice.
merengue. I do that sometimes just
That's pretty cool.
Bother my wife. She really hates it when I do that dance.
I do like dancing a lot. I always have. And I like dancing. I like square dancing as well. I really like kind of this like more organized form of dancing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I really liked. One of the things I really liked about watching Vinta is when I did see the demos of the dance, I was like, that I think I could do.
Yeah.
Those dances, they're very inclusive.
Sure. Exactly.
They're very, it's a very accessible.
That is that's the whole idea.
Dance, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I've always loved about it too. It's that the group in Toronto, the ball folk group in Toronto, they, it's a very inclusive community and you always get people, there's always kind of people joining who just randomly see people doing it at this bar that they'll meet at, and, they'll just kind of get swept up into like some of especially there's kind of larger group dances as well, and people will just kind of get swept into the group a little bit. Yeah. And sometimes they'll just dance for a night. Sometimes they'll just dance for a dance, but sometimes they'll just become part of the community and come back week after week. And it's really, really beautiful. And the tunes themselves are largely simple as well. So they're inclusive in that way too. Yeah. Again, like you can play them, you can deepen your groove with those tunes, but to just play the melody themselves are pretty simple a lot of the time. So it's nice as well. There's like a nice starting point, and then there's always kind of further, more grounded you can get with the tunes. Yeah.
Very very kitchen party friendly.
For sure. Yeah, exactly. And exactly. So much of folk and traditional music is like that. Yeah. And that's what I kind of love about playing it.
So I being a musician myself who's done like touring and recording, I different kind of worlds, different streams, but still within music.
Yep.
I think I understand the sort of general lifestyle and mode of operation, but I feel like a lot of people out there don't.
Sure.
So perhaps for the people listening, like how would you sort of sum up or describe to somebody who lives a life not based around music what that's really like? I feel like it's like people see like there's hobbyist musicians and then there's, famous rock stars and pop stars and whatnot. And that whole sort of area in between, the lay people out there just don't really seem to know that much about a lot of the time or really understand how musicians get by.
Sure.
What's, if you were to describe what it's like to be a musician, a folk musician.
Oh, yeah.
Of your particular avenue to somebody.
Yeah, I mean, it's in some ways it's a little hard to describe because it's so particular for every musician. You know, it's so different for everybody because everybody's kind of like trying to get by, as you say, and like trying to make their own path in music. And there's no really like, there are very few like kind of standard ways of doing things. So, I mean, I would say that like, obviously the best part or one of the best parts of being a musician is that I get to perform. I've always loved performing. And so for me, like being able to perform in a concert is just so great, you know, and that's kind of, you know, that's the most public thing that people can see about my life is me being like very happy on stage because I'm happy to be there and I'm happy to share that experience with people in the audience and people in the bands that I play with. Then there's also the other really awesome things are getting to meet other musicians and getting to jam together and getting to, you know, like for example, with these people that I was playing with last week, you know, getting to like find some common ground with people in terms of repertoire and in terms of a sound and trying to like meld your musical ideas together with people who maybe you don't speak even the same language as, or, you know, just, I don't know. It's a wonderful kind of relationship building, community building tool. Social, I don't know. Sometimes it's almost uncomfortable for me to be in like long social situations and not play music with people at some point, not have like music be part of it.
I can see that. I mean, I have so many musician friends and while I'm not always playing with them, I mean, usually the conversation
or listening to music or something like that, you know, showing each other like recordings and like, you know, albums and things like that. I don't know. So
nerding out.
Sorry?
Nerding out.
Exactly. I love to nerd out.
Yeah, I know you do. I could tell. That was actually what I leaned over and said to Amber in the most positive way.
That these guys are a bunch of nerds.
I was like, I don't know how they found 4 people so specifically nerdy about this kind of music, but I love it.
Well, part of that is loving that music.
Yeah.
And then part of that is just that we love to play together.
Yeah.
And that we love to hang out together. So it's this, you know, part of it, it's the same with the Barrel Boys and Bluegrass, you know? It's like part of it is the music itself, and part of it is just like I want to play with these people and we can play anything. Yeah. You know? And it's going to be awesome. I just want to, whatever it takes to like hang out together. Let's play music, you know, and let's figure out what we like as a 4-piece. And we're still kind of figuring that out with Vinta. So lifestyle stuff. And then everything else starts to get a little bit less glamorous after that. No, not necessarily. Teaching is also a big part of what I do. Yeah. And teaching is, I love teaching. You know, it's you get some of the same human connection that you do with jamming and performing, but then there's also some of the wonderful parts that I love about rehearsing that come into teaching, where, you know, you're with a student and you're trying to like creatively come up with solutions to like the roadblocks and I don't know, I've always found teaching to be very like life-giving and like energizing. Yeah. And teaching, really, I'm teaching much more now than I ever have been before. Part of that is just because of the pandemic. You know, I think I shifted to teaching virtually exclusively for a long time. And so that meant anybody who's kind of like coming out of the woodwork and wanting to learn the fiddle, you know, maybe it's like, well, now I'm limited in terms of like what interests I can pursue, and I've got this time, and now I've always kind of thought about learning the fiddle, and now I can, and so I'm gonna, and like, who should I reach out to? And people have found me somehow, and through various means. And so I'm teaching a lot more now than I ever have been, and that's a really, really wonderful part of my life and career. But then, yeah, I would say so. Now after that point, things are less glamorous. It's like a lot of emails, whether it's just the kind of emails like emailing back and forth with students or booking people, and those are like the good emails. And then the bad emails are like applying the ones you send to festivals or concert promoters that you never hear back from, or, it's just there's a lot of time kind of spent on the computer doing kind of like mundane and kind of repetitive stuff. That's not so fun. And then there's a lot of time. I also spend a lot of time in transit, a lot of time like in the car, driving to various gigs, sometimes like learning or practicing the music for those gigs or for other future gigs, like by myself, singing along to practice tracks in the car, or trying to learn lyrics in the car a lot. And and then there's the rehearsal time, which is hard work, but which I really love. Yeah, it's funny. And then there's just practice, and practice and writing. Both of those kind of, if you want to be a good musician, or you want to play, or you maybe not good musician, if you want to like accomplish things as a musician or as a creator, like you have to keep doing them, and you probably don't feel like it. I don't know, like I probably don't feel like it like half the time. And so, but you just still have to do these things. So it's kind of funny, a conversation that I really don't like having is people finding out that I play music full time and them telling me, wow, that's so great that you get to do what you love. Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing that sort of sparked this question from us. People just don't really seem to get it. And I don't know. It's almost like there's a little, there's either like a lack, just complete bewilderment. Like you don't have a day job. You do this for real. Like how?
Yeah.
Or which is like, I think one of my preferred responses, because at least it's like there's a certain amount of like wow to it, but then there's like that. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like a little pat on the head.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that sometimes. It depends. Yeah, it depends on the person, but there's the idea that I'm always kind of doing what I love and what I choose to do. Well, I mean, I'm always choosing to do it. That's really what it comes down to. I'm doing what I've chosen to do, and sometimes I love it. But like anything that you really love, like the more that you enjoy it, like sometimes like the more that you hate it. Sometimes, just sometimes, not all the time, not enough that it's a real grind sometimes.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot of hard work, like there is with any job, but that's it, like it's a job sometimes.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, they just have trouble really wrapping their heads around the fact that can even really be a job. It's like and that's was sort of touching on that dichotomy where people tend to either view it as like either you're rich and famous,
right,
or you're a hobbyist.
Sure.
But there's this whole world in between.
Yeah.
And if I were like, well, I'm a carpenter, I'm gonna drive nails into wood and saw wood and build things out of wood. People are like, cool,
that's wonderful,
that's great. I hear you're good at it. Can you come build me some stairs? Like,
right? There's kind of an understanding, I guess, of
instantly understood and okay. But you tell people, you're like, well, I'm a musician. They're like, oh, are you now? There's always, it's just always this little kind of tweak to it.
Yeah.
But I think it does come from a lack of understanding, and it is a grind a lot of the time. When you aren't that famous person, a lot of we have chosen to make our hobbies our professions.
Sure.
Which, I mean, it's a lot harder to sell CDs than it used to. So you gotta teach more lessons, and you gotta take more gigs, and you gotta maybe do some session stuff for.
which I'm grateful for. You know,
Yeah.
like at the end of the day, like I don't say this because I'm ungrateful. You know, I'm very grateful to be able to do this.
Yeah.
I feel I'm just so fortunate to be able to have been doing this for, you know, for many, many years, and to continue to do this, and like for my opportunities to be growing, you know, and like for the number of people I get to play with to be kind of expanding all the time, and the number of people I meet to be expanding all the time. You know, it's like, it is really wonderful, you know, but it's like, yeah, it's definitely complicated, and it's definitely nuanced, you know, and it's a whole spectrum from like, you know, ecstatic to like very dark sometimes, you know. Yeah. I think most musicians I know like also go through like extremely kind of low lows. Because you have these high highs as well.
Totally. So you're recording, you're gigging, you're teaching. Jamming, you're writing, you're teaching. Any other little avenues? Any other ways you've spread your tentacles out there? Have you done any like film scoring? Or
I've done a little bit of film scoring. Yeah, that's true. I've done one. I scored one film, a short film by my friend John Clemens. It was like the first film that he directed, and he talked to me and he said, "Hey, have you ever done any film scoring?" I said, "No." He's like, "Well, you want to score this film?" I said, "Okay, but like I've never done anything like this before." He's like, "Oh yeah, that's fine. Neither have I," you know?
Yeah.
And so we were going through this kind of process together, and he was working with, you know, a bunch of people who were much more experienced than he was. And then it was fun. Yeah. It was fun. It was hard. I really liked it. So it was this film called Red Herring, and it was like this short slasher film.
Okay.
And so that was kind of interesting to like look at some old horror movies, you know, like Friday the 13th and you know, and Halloween and Psycho and those kinds of things, and try to be like, okay, so like what's going on with the music here, you know, like how do they create. I'm not like a huge horror aficionado, so I got a little bit more familiar with the genre, and kind of be like, okay, what are some common threads here? Like, how are people creating suspense, and, you know, how do you create these like shifts in mood, and like how does this go? I also got some like great advice from people who have done, you know, more film scoring, a lot more film scoring than I have. Yeah. So that was cool. But it was great. It was great to kind of write all this music, and the film was about 10 minutes long. Yeah.
Well, there's nothing like violin for a horror film.
Yeah, I got to make some like cool noises, you know, some like really screechy stuff. Yeah. Like mostly the score was like piano sounds and strings. That was it. It was like very, very simple. I kind of, you know, just wanted to have, these kind of like long, kind of suspended tones, and then like kind of repetitive notes on the piano, just kind of like a heartbeat type sound, and then occasionally it'd have like these little bursts. But the thing about this movie is that it's a bit of like a comedy as well. It's like a kind of a slasher. It's not like
a little bit
really
campy.
It's not super campy. It's not really silly or anything, but there is an element of parody because it's about this killer that can't really that keeps like screwing up. He's trying to like kill this person, and he keeps going into their house, and you know, he can't like finish the job kind of in a way. So there's these like kind of comedic scenes, and so I'd have these like, you know, kind of pizzicato string quartet moments that were kind of like, a little bit like bubbly and silly, where he's trying to like, he's like, you know, he's thinking about what he's going to do, and he's like practicing his slashes, and you know, there's a lot of fun as well. So it was kind of the perfect movie for me.
Almost verging on an anti-hero.
Yeah. for sure.
Yeah, like
For
you
sure.
feel like in the way that you feel sorry for him because
Little bit.
he's so bumbling.
Yeah.
And you want him to get
Exactly.
better. You want him to get better at his job.
Yeah, exactly. You're kind of rooting for him
Yeah,
in a really like dark, messed up
Yeah.
kind of way, you know?
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
So that was really fun because it was kind of a nice first film scoring effort because you'd have like these very distinct shifts in mood.
Yeah.
You know, so it helped for me to be able to rely very heavily on some kind of tropey sounds.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, this is what a slasher film sounds like. And then and then create something that was like a very obvious departure from that. So there were these like really quick shifts in moods that were very clear. You know, it wasn't a subtle film score at all, which helped.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
I've been doing a little bit of scoring myself.
Awesome.
Over the past couple of years.
Cool.
So, but it's like I've only done a few.
Yeah.
So
I'd love to see what you
sort
come
of
up with.
looking for any inspiration I can get and any insights I can get to take my own skills further there. I just
Cool.
did the music for a TV show all about graffiti artists.
Oh yeah.
And then I also did the score for a short film, like documentary about a little girl in Tibet.
Cool.
Nomadic, lives in the hills and stuff. Moves every season. So it's about
Whoa.
a 6-minute short film.
Amazing.
On that. Had to do the whole score. Very similar. I'm not horror-ish, but mainly piano and strings.
Yeah, awesome. I'd love to see that. That's great.
My buddy Martin made it. I think it's the only footage you can see, the only high quality footage you'll probably ever see of Tibet. Because
Really?
cameras are like illegal there. He smuggled a camera in.
No kidding.
Yeah. Like he went in with a crew of 5 people. They all said they were tourists.
Right.
And they disassembled the camera and all brought in
No
like a
way.
piece of the camera that looked like a non-functional nothing.
That's
and then
crazy.
they rebuilt the camera.
Wow.
In the hotel room when they got in.
Crazy.
And shot a documentary there.
Oh my goodness. Should we even be talking about this right now?
He's out of China now.
Okay.
So yeah, he won't be extradited or anything, but
Okay,
like
that's good
he
to
had
know.
he had some close calls when he was there.
No kidding.
Yeah. He was very afraid for his life and freedom at certain points on that trip.
Yeah. Well, especially within the context of when did he shoot that?
It was about 2 years ago.
Okay.
2.5 years ago. Maybe. Yeah.
So definitely at the time when, people were being
Oh yeah.
with all this Huawei stuff.
Yeah, totally.
People being arrested for espionage.
Yeah,
and
he was
stuff
seeing
like that.
all those headlines while he was there and stuff.
Ooh.
And one night they had the the police bust down their hotel room door and search all their bags.
Oh man.
And stuff. And luckily they're one of them stayed in a different room that night.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave the hard drives and lenses and stuff to him.
Yeah.
So when the police came, they didn't find any of the stuff with the film crew because I guess they didn't know that one of them was in a different room with all the stuff. They were just convinced that they were going to get hauled away and never heard from again.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Yeah, it's called The Story of Pema.
Okay.
It's on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Yep, The Story of Pema.
That's awesome. I'll look that up. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a fun little piece. My buddy Martin, he does. He sort of works on. That's his second in a series where he goes around and profiles the last of sort of traditionally living youth.
Okay.
He did a mini doc on the teenage eagle huntress in Mongolia.
Whoa.
And then this one on this girl Pema who rides giant yaks across the mountains and stuff.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'd love to see that. Where else is he going to go?
He does a lot of stuff in Africa.
Okay.
Right now he actually he called me today for the first time in months because he just got back from Africa.
Wow.
And he shoots he works with a team in Lua Conservancy, which is I think it's in Namibia.
Okay.
And they're an anti-poaching squad and wildlife reserve. And he's big into that kind of stuff, National Geographic kind of stuff. When he's dealing with people, he's really focused on like youth and sort of these last pockets of remaining youth that are still like growing up in a centuries old ways.
Yeah.
And then outside of that, he's really into just wildlife, mainly African wildlife, but has done some stuff up like with polar bears and walruses and stuff. He's always kind of globe-trotting. And
that's so cool.
I'll get texts from him like in the middle of the night that are like recordings of the lions growling outside his tent.
Whoa.
And stuff.
Wow, incredible.
Yeah.
Wow, that's nuts. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've had like the opportunity to travel, you know, to places that are super uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's something I've definitely missed over the last little while, and that's something that I don't know. I haven't found a way to really, incorporate into my music lifestyle, because sometimes, there's this you kind of just want to like book as many things as possible and like fill the schedule and like really kind of keep working. There's like a desperation in a way to like kind of keep staying busy. Like I don't know. It's easy to be like afraid of downtime and afraid of kind of, fallow seasons.
Yeah, totally.
So sometimes I get a little too busy sometimes and realize, I haven't really had a vacation in a while necessarily.
It's important. You gotta just take some you time.
Yeah.
Sometimes leave the fiddle at home.
Leave the fiddle at home. What a concept. I don't do that very often. Even when I go visit people, I'm usually bringing my fiddle.
You should get a bike mount for your fiddle.
But it goes on my back easily.
Yeah.
So there's not necessarily a reason to have it on the bike. I don't know. It's a very bike friendly.
For show.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, it's also nice to just feel like it's close.
Yeah,
because it's fragile.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't want it. I don't know. I'd be worried about it falling off somehow. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the nice thing also, like biking around Toronto with a fiddle was something I was able to do very easily. Biking around Smiths Falls.
Yeah,
with
the small
fiddle.
instrument is nice like that.
Yeah.
I took up the mandolin for that reason. Went from guitar to mandolin.
Yeah.
I don't do much on the mandolin other than just kind of chord it out.
That's cool.
But it's nice to be able to chord it out on something so tiny. And
so easy
portable.
to carry. Yeah, absolutely. I think people who play things like the piano, also feel the same way. I mean, Emmeline, she plays the accordion.
Yeah.
And that was kind of part of why she started playing accordion. She was she's an amazing piano player. Piano was her first instrument and she's an astounding piano player.
I believe it.
But she started playing accordion because she figured, this is just kind of like a portable piano, which is kind of not true. But also, there is a keyboard on it, so she had a small leg up in that respect. But yeah, most of the hard things about the accordion have nothing to do with the piano.
Yeah.
But that was kind of, that was her philosophy when she got started.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, so you're still getting to know this town. Things are opening up.
Yeah.
You've done a few things. You've had a backyard concert.
That's right.
You've certainly biked around the town.
Yeah.
What are you what's on your to-do list? What are you looking forward to in town?
Looking forward to in town?
Yeah.
I mean,
events,
I'm looking forward
going to places you haven't gone to yet.
Yeah, I mean, so Bree and I, Bree and I joined a gym here. We're at Action Fitness.
Nice.
Where's
that one?
That one is down on Brockville. It's in like...
Oh, right, in the plaza there.
In the first plaza.
Yeah,
not in the mall, in the plaza.
Yeah.
There, by the Salvation Army.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. And, I mean, looking forward to going to Bowie's more and like checking out more music and looking forward to like we've explored some hiking in the area. That's been really nice. But just, looking to also just continue to deepen our community, meet more friends of friends. Like so far everyone we've made connections with here have been really amazing people, and we've clicked super well with a lot of folks. Like the density of of awesome people to I don't know to size of the town is really awesome.
I think
really
so. I think so very much.
Really wonderful folks here.
I lived in Kitchener for like 2 years before coming here, and living there was the first time me and Amber really sort of wanted to insert ourselves into a community, on a deep level. I mean, we had lived in Guelph before that, and we were definitely part of the scene in Guelph.
Yeah.
But I never really felt like I was sort of community oriented.
I guess there is a slight difference there, hey, in between like a scene and a community in a way,
Yeah.
I really admire how deeply people are digging into wanting to like start things and create opportunities for other people to shine.
Yeah.
The Arts Hub and Smiths Falls Music being a classic example.
I feel like people in this town, for the most part, have each other's backs.
I think so. Yeah.
A lot more than I've experienced in other places. Yeah. Not necessarily because people are going out of their way to not have each other's backs in other places I've been, but I think maybe it's just a size thing.
Maybe, yeah.
I was living in Kitchener, as 300,000 people. You get everybody sort of gets lost in the mix and disconnected, and you can have I think there's many you get a bigger town like that, bigger city, you have many sort of sub communities that are going on as opposed to sort of one kind of town community, which I think maybe that's the difference that I've felt here.
Right, like there's this real I've noticed this real effort to want to support very actively the things that other people are doing because everybody kind of needs that. Yeah.
And I think that's been, definitely ramped up by COVID.
Yeah, sure.
And the whole of, shopping local, thinking local, acting local has really kind of been reinforced over the pandemic. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so we're looking forward to digging in more into that, and then in terms of like kind of more professional things. I mean, I'm teaching here at Smiths Falls Music, here in this building that we are in, podcasting from. And then I've got a performance that's going to be just a duo, me and Emmeline, in September, with an organization called Harmony Concerts that operate throughout the Ottawa region.
I think I've heard of them.
Yeah, they're kind of becoming a big deal. Like they put on concerts at the Studio Theatre in Perth. That's one of their locations. Yep. And then another location that they put on concerts at is at this winery in Morrisburg, Stonecrop Acres. Okay. That they grow grapes and make wine there and have made awesome wine for a few years now. And they have events there, and this concert series is one of the events they have there. So the Barrel Boys actually played there a couple of weeks ago, and then Emmeline and I are playing under our duo name is Smith and Stam. So we're going to be playing there September 19th. It's a Sunday. So if anyone was at the concert in our backyard or likes traditional music, they should check that out.
How far is Morrisburg from here?
Morrisburg is like 40 minutes.
Yeah. It's about what I thought. They like their music in Morrisburg.
Yeah, definitely. I've gotten to know Morrisburg kind of well. This band that I was talking about, Lisa Way and the Wayward Wind, the theater band, has played there a ton. They have a nice little theater.
The St. Lawrence Acoustic Stage?
That's right. Yeah. The Upper Canada Playhouse is the theater. Yeah. And then the St. Lawrence Acoustic Stage runs in that theater.
Is that still Sandra Whitworth running that?
Ooh, I don't know the St. Lawrence people as well. I've kind of reached out to them a little bit, but that's kind of the relationship there. Yeah. But I've performed as part of the Upper Canada Playhouse's theater season.
Gotcha.
Right. So the spectacles have been part of that theater season. And so the artistic director there, Donnie, is the guy that I've gotten to know really well.
Gotcha. Well, it's a nice theater.
It's really nice.
I like that theater a lot.
Yeah, it's cool. It's unique. It's like shallow and wide.
Yeah.
It's like kind of a wacky place to play, but it is really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but this winery, that's where our concert's going to be. It's going to be like a super nice vibe, like outdoor. Yeah. So if I can like promote one thing locally, it's definitely
you can promote more than one thing if you want.
I think that's probably the most relevant thing for me to promote that's coming up in the near future is just me and Emmeline Smith and Stam at the winery in Morrisburg on September 19th. Really looking forward to that.
And what time is that? Is that a daytime thing or a nighttime thing?
That is going to be an evening thing.
Evening thing. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we can maybe put, I don't know, can we put like the website in the show notes or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I realized I should have memorized it.
That's all right. I record the intro and the outro later.
Okay, great.
I do it after.
Perfect. For this very reason, hey?
Well, I have the ability to sort of reference maybe topics or whatever.
Nice.
Come up, think of smarter little hooks or segues to put in at the beginning of the end.
Can I do that too? Can I like think of something smarter to say and like insert it and did various different points in the conversation?
Well, you'll have to come back here and re-record it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I got to tell you, I was a little bit, not so nervous. I was a little bit nervous coming into this, thinking like, man, what if I like forget someone's name?
Yeah.
Who I know very well, or like, what if I just like leave out some very important detail of something or,
I mean, this is a long form thing.
Sure.
I don't chop it down. I don't limit it to, so there's usually the room to get to everything, but we never get to everything.
No, you
can't.
You
can't.
There's a whole lifetime of things.
We could sit here and make this a 4-hour podcast if we wanted to, but I think that would be pushing the limits of the long format.
Yeah, I think
for most people.
That's the extra long.
But, I mean, if we had, it's also a podcast. It's not live, right?
Right.
So if we want to take a bathroom break or get to freshen up our drinks or if I need to yell at my dog.
For example.
Because she's bugging you, or I can fix that.
You can fix that.
I can fix whatever I want.
No, I'm largely just joking. I feel pretty comfortable with everything we've said.
You know what? Everybody comes in a little nervous.
Yeah.
And I think, they see the mics, they see the headphones, and they think radio.
Sure.
And that's, I've done radio. It is definitely more nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Because,
I've done radio interviews in the past. Yeah.
It's live.
It's crazy.
Unless it's pre-recorded, but I think
Is that really radio?
That's what I was just going to say. It's like, is that real radio? I don't know. It's broadcast over the airwaves. You can definitely pre-record radio shows, but
sure.
Brings it more into the podcast world, I think.
True.
I've thought about maybe doing a live podcast.
Ah.
Yeah. I think I want to...
Like live in front of an audience?
Ooh, I didn't even think of that. I'd do it, sure. I'd try anything. What I need before I can really explore doing any live version of this is a much more robust internet connection in this building.
Right.
It's the speeds here are not good. They're okay for downloads, but the uploads are... Especially in this part of the building, because the Wi-Fi doesn't get through my thick walls very well back here in the studio.
You need to be hardwired.
Yeah, and then even then, I've tried being hardwired, and we have Bell Fibe here, but it's like the Bell Fibe that's not actually fiber optic. Like their lines don't. I don't know. We'd have to pay some big upgrade fee to get like a custom like fiber optics box installed on a post near us or something like that. But,
wow.
Which I'm ready to do at this point.
Yeah.
Because I've got blazing fast internet at my house. I could do a live broadcast from my house.
Oh.
I could definitely do a live broadcast from my house. But we'll see. Yeah.
Cool.
Right now, just keeping it audio based.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll expand to adding video to it. But then there's more nerves.
Yeah, true.
People got to worry about what they look like as soon as I turn the cameras on.
I know, right? Yeah. Yeah. Cameras are funny like that, hey?
Yeah. And that's the thing. I find if live radio might make somebody nervous.
Sure, definitely.
You take the live element away, and I find the nerves, especially once I remind people like I'm just all right, like you paused or you flubbed or you burped or this, like I can cut it out. I can just cut it out. I'll listen through, and if it doesn't sound like something that needs to be there, I can cut it out.
Yeah.
I don't cut out a lot from the shows because usually the conversations flow pretty well. But as soon as you turn a camera on, people are looking at the camera. They're thinking about how they look. They think a lot of people don't like to be in front of cameras.
No.
So for now, I'm just trying to keep it.
Well,
keep it a little grassroots.
If you ever need someone to be in front of a camera, I kind of like being in front of a camera.
Yeah?
I don't know, like like I said, I enjoy performing. You know, for better or for worse. Whether I'm like an exceptional performer or not, I don't know. I've always just loved doing it.
It can be fun. It can be real fun. Well, thanks for coming and performing on my show.
Oh, my pleasure.
Talking with me.
Yeah, it's been a real treat. Thanks so much, Matt.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. And anything else you want to say before we bid our audience adieu?
Nothing that I can really think of, and this is the moment that I feel like, oh no, I've surely missed something.
Right.
But I think for the moment I've said everything that I'd hoped to say.
Well, that's good. That makes me feel good.
If people, if people check out,
it makes me feel like we've buttoned it up. We've done a good job here. I think
if people are interested in the kind of music I'm making, you can like follow me on social media. At Nathan on Fiddle is my Instagram handle, or my website is nathansmithmusic.net.
And you can come down to the Arts Hub.
You can come down to the Arts Hub
and sign up for fiddle lessons.
That's right. Yeah.
Or viola lessons.
That's right. Yeah, I have a viola that I play sometimes. You know, definitely less than I once did. But yeah, I mean, definitely people can learn viola for sure, and should learn viola. Learn those inner harmonies.
Yeah, I feel like I'd be maybe more adept at the viola than the violin. I got really big fat fingers.
Well, you'd be surprised. Yeah. My violin teacher when I was a kid, like, huge hands.
Yeah.
He was a huge guy.
Big hands do help for some of those
amazing
reaches,
violinist.
Right? Some of those Paganini hands.
Well, yeah, he didn't have Paganini hands, that's for sure. It was like sausage fingers, He was like a farmer, had farmer hands.
Yeah.
And, incredible violinist, on these like tiny little strings, playing these like tiny intervals, and his fingers are all like kind of flopping all over each other, but like incredible.
Right, because as you mentioned, you don't really play a lot of chords on the violin. That's what I have trouble with on the mandolin being so small, is playing the chords and my fat fingers hitting more than one string. Like I
it's very
feel
compact.
Like I want to get a mandolin with a slightly wider neck.
Sure.
To accommodate my wide fingers.
I think you can find those.
I'll start looking.
Yeah. Good luck.
Nathan on Fiddle, folks.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
And that was my talk with Nathan Smith. And just as I promised him, I just wanted to share with you some of those web links and details that he wasn't necessarily remembering in the moment. You can check out Nathan on his website at nathansmithmusic.net. And you can check out his projects, The Barrel Boys, his bluegrass band, at www.thebarrelboys.com, and his quartet of dance music. Not the unce kind, but, well, we talked about it. You heard. You're all the way here. You heard what they do. Vinta. Yes, that's Vinta, spelled V-I-N-T-A, like the first 5 letters of vintage. Vintamusic.com is the website to check them out. And one more big shout out to this episode's sponsors, Water and Rail. Get your hoodies now at the Arts Hub. And Northwood Music, northwoodmusic.ca. Find your new favorite musical act there now. Do it. So I am going to leave you right now with a track that Nathan wrote and sang and played and released on his album. This song is called Marketplace. Enjoy.
Sun's still sleeping, I wanna stay down. Gravity pulls a little harder right now, but I gotta get up, I can't sleep late. Gotta make bread for market day. Let it rest, let it rise, every little good thing
in the bowl, flour in my hair, flour in my soul. Little bit of leaven goes a long, long way when you're making that bread for market day. I get my water from back in the woods. Salt makes bread taste like it should. Mix it all together and it's bubbling away, becoming my bread for market day. Let it rest, let it rise. Every little good thing takes its time. Pick a little banjo while I wait. Wait for the bread on market day. Bread for the fathers, bread for the mothers, bread for the saints and bread for the others. Bread for the young and the old and gray. It's busy down here on market day. Market day, that's when I see these southern hills have been good to me. Give a little smile